XM 105, Sirius 206, the Opie and Anthony channel. The Ron and Fez show starts right now.
Okay, let's get down to it, Boppers.
Buddies, it's the Ron and Fez show. 866 Ron 0 Fez. 866 Ron 0 Fez. It is a Tuesday, which means we'll be doing twofers. Two for rock blocks the entire day.
Perfect.
Styx, Stones, Foreigner, Journey, some Tull.
Loving this playlist.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking going to be amazing. It's basically what I call a look back ahead. And it's bands that we're looking back at, but what are they going to be doing in the future?
Rocking.
And I think it's going to change music as we know it today. Speaking of that, is Rob Cross on vacation or something? I haven't seen him in the last couple of days.
He's here today. But he's just been on the down low.
Something's going on. Something's bothering him. You know what? Grab my schedule.
Yeah.
And pencil in a little Ronnie B time, and I'm going to see if he's got at-home problems.
Okay.
Or some of those XMU problems that bothers him from time to time.
That indie rock really gets on his fucking head.
Well, none of those musicians are kind. And when you deal with them...
Full of themselves.
Yeah, they are. And they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders because, you know, it's a 3-guitar fucking army right now. We're coming at you with a full fucking guitar army.
Jesus. Guys, you can break it down a little bit.
It looks like we may have a major rock star stopping in here. Two-time, because it's 2 for Tuesday, two-time member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I've never gotten in once, so it seems like a fucking ripoff to me.
That's just, Rolling Stone being dick.
Eddie Trunk was so right. Eddie Trunk is not just right about that, but just about everything.
He's kind of like a prophet almost. A metal prophet.
Wow, that's a fucking great name for an album. The Metal Prophet.
This shit's going to blow your minds.
I don't know if they like their minds blown. They just like to get in the pit. Just constantly. Are you a pit guy? You a guy who like to get in the pit?
Every once in a while.
Yeah. I took it all too personal. I felt like, what? Who the fuck are you slamming into?
But losing
you can't do that.
Losing the shoe sucks too. That's
losing a shoe in the pit is maybe the most embarrassing thing because you can't be leaning over
It's over.
trying to get a shoe.
You're fucked.
You look stupid. People are falling over you. And that whole thing, any band that yells out if someone falls in a pit, help them up. Then why are we in a pit? I don't understand it.
It's a loving community of violence.
It is. It's really, really strange. All right, 866 Ron Zero Fez, 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here's Rick. Rick in Illinois. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Well, good morning, fellas. How you all doing today?
Well, it's really nobody's business, but this one time only, I'm just going to tell you I'm doing just fine, Rick.
Oh, that's great to hear, man.
Good.
Listen, you guys Friday had this big conversation with that. I guess he's your kid intern.
He is. He's called Kid Intern. That's his nickname. Mm-hmm. We also call him Kokomo Joe.
Oh, Kokomo. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. What happened with the date?
Well, he blew his back out.
Playing ball.
Which basically, to me, he blew his balls out because he panicked about going out with young Dana, who actually said to us, "What's a date?" She doesn't. Wow. There's a lot of things that confuse her.
All I know is the Rangers.
The Rangers had a homecoming.
It was 7 a.m.
in Harlem late last night.
Wow.
As our guest, is that why we're moving? Nobody's letting me know.
No.
Okay.
I just got a head shake of no.
So he just gets up on his own. Off he goes. So he did not do the date. Is he working today?
Yes, he is working today.
All right. Kokomo, get in here.
Kokomo. Come on,
because I think, like, we tried to make this the summer of the intern, and it's blowing up in our faces.
These interns are kind of just fucking not getting it.
You know what? This is the first time that we ever had an intern that I would go so far and call an outturn.
Okay.
Coke. Can I call you Coke? Is that a problem?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, free. Feel
Coke.
free.
What?
I said
what?
feel free.
No, you said pretty furt.
I said pretty first.
You actually said pretty furt, and then you sat there as if that was a language.
I heard it in a Jay-Z lyric.
You never did.
No.
You figure you could throw Jay-Z lyric and I wouldn't know it. But what about this? Will somebody bring me my money, please?
Look, Joe, we're from fucking New York. We know the fucking
get it.
goddamn lyrics.
It's New York.
That's right, New York.
Anyway, as you said, pretty furt.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to teach my bird to say. And my bird right now is a cardinal, and it's not even in my house. It's just in the backyard.
All right.
And I just look out the window and go, pretty furt, pretty furt, and it flies away.
Gotta catch that bird.
Well, stop that pigeon, I like to yell, and off I go with my band of crazies. I forgot why we called you in here. Oh, because you punked out on having a date because you're the youngest person in America with a back problem.
Yeah. Well, it's a recurring back problem.
But do you realize you're how old now?
22 years young.
22 years young?
Yes. I'm trying to keep myself young, you know?
Yeah. Well, all right, at 22 years young, if you have back problems now, by the time you get to middle age, you're going to be in a fucking iron lung.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I already know, like, I'll have it, so.
Yeah, it's
Scoliosis?
Just gotta
Like,
do
what the
those
fuck?
abdominal muscle work.
No, none of that works.
No?
None of that works.
Okay, well,
There's nothing you can do.
okay. So, I'm just kind of.
You're going to be one of those. You're going to be one of those disability guys, you know?
On
You'll
oxys
be,
for the rest of your life.
You'll be sleeping in a fucking one of those guys who sleeps in the chair, a wooden chair sitting up. And when the kids come into the room, he yells at them like they're in his bedroom.
Don't make any sounds.
Stop running through the kitchen. Daddy's sleeping. You'll be one of those guys.
Okay.
And then the kids will be saying, you know, neighborhood, why doesn't your dad work? And then your kid will be like, his back's bad.
He eats pills.
No, he'll say, like, he does online surveys.
Do you know what? Yeah, because they're going to have online surveys in the future. In the future, you're going to be downloading shit straight into your brain, which is basically the Ron and Fez show. We help you download this directly into your brain.
That's right. It's fucking Matrix.
Do they do that in the Matrix?
Yeah, remember he learned Kung Fu.
Are you sure you're not thinking Johnny Mnemonic? His other great film?
That was a good one. Cyberpunk.
It was Cyberpunk. What are the basic Cyberpunk movies?
Giant Mnemonic,
What would have
Hackers.
been the first Cyberpunk movie?
Might-
Because the term Cyberpunk didn't even come around till like 84.
yeah, mid-80s with William Neuromancer or whatever.
Yeah,
William
Neuromancer.
Gibson. I think maybe even Tank Girl was almost a Cyberpunk-esque movie. I know they weren't very good, but they are out there.
I don't even consider that fucking Cyberpunk.
His future and
I just bug-eyed weirdness. There's something about that girl. She gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, yeah, she's totally whacked out.
I hate to say, she reminds me of Dana.
But she probably has better knowledge of pop culture.
Have to. Fucking Dixie Cup has better knowledge of pop culture because it has that little question. You know what you should just start doing is buying fucking teas and giving Dana the cap to read. So in the back of her mind, she's like, "Oh, here's a fun little fact."
I could throw this out whenever I want.
Did you know that there's states in America
Yes.
and not all of them are Jersey?
They all work together.
Is that an impression of her?
Yeah, it's an impression, but
Yeah, I don't know if you want to
I'm not
be
going
with
to.
her. Because I don't know if you want a girl who's going to say this, let's make out. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
scary.
Come on. It's
give
weird.
it to me. Give it to me, Coke. Come on.
Coke. Do you mind if we call you Coke?
No.
Is that pretty pert?
No, it's
Pretty pert.
for you.
Pretty pert.
Tear my
Come
shit
on,
up.
Cardinal. Come into the house. Actually, I have a problem that I'll call Cardinals St. Louis Cardinals and Orioles Baltimore Orioles. So I'll be like, hey, I saw St. Louis Cardinal. And they're like, who was it, Ozzy? And I go,
shit.
no. I'm at the Bird.
That's impressive. I mean, Bird's nice.
All right,
Yeah.
wait. Woody's got a good one here. How are you, Woody?
Hey, I'm doing good, buddy. How y'all?
None of your goddamn business. I already told Rick. Nothing's changed since I talked to Rick.
Yes, sir. Blade Runner really blew up the cyberpunk movie with all the heavy industrial feel and everything.
You Blade Runner! You Blade Runner! But they didn't cyber too much in that movie.
It was just the future, and there were fucking replicants. But
Yeah.
if there's a melding together of like technology and human, then they're all about it. You know, like the movie Existence.
I love that fucking
That
movie.
has a cyberpunk element.
And it's stupid as shit. I mean, it's like, what just happened? I don't know. And I've never turned it off.
It's great.
Blade Runner changed everything.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, Braid.
What?
I said Blade.
But why don't you finish your sentences?
I said, yeah, no,
Blade's
that
a
was the
vampire
entire
movie,
sentence.
all right?
Two
It's not
words.
fucking.
It's kind of cyberpunky though, because it's cyberpunky vampires. That brought up the hey, we're just lounging vampires in that movie. They're like, we're vampires, but we're laying around looking attractive.
Yeah, and then Chris Christopherson's there fucking him up.
Chris Christopherson, they're doing a movie about him, and Dana's playing the fucking lead. Woke up Sunday morning, no way to hold my head. It didn't hurt. Can somebody buy me lunch?
Oh, what the hell did that girl do over the weekend?
Apparently, she fucking starred in Star is Born with Barbara Streisand. You know, the guy who wrote that movie just died. He wrote, actually, some of my favorite movies. He wrote Dog Day Afternoon, and there was another, Cool Hand Luke.
Shit.
Shit, what are you, so depressed now?
Yeah, I am
Fuck.
impressed.
Damn it.
I just found out he was my favorite.
That's good shit.
Well, you know, you don't live forever. This isn't fucking Cyberdyne where we can put people's brains into some kind of a robot clone.
Soon. I think that we're going to be able to get that close.
I don't think I want it. If anything, I just want my brain kept in a jar.
But, I mean, it'd be nice to have a fucking robot body and just fuck shit up. Just be able to destroy whatever you want.
It's true.
Thanks, Coke.
You have a point.
Coke is right there. Dennis, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Dennis.
Hello?
Yeah. Dennis, you're on the air.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm driving here at the same time, breaking the law. Just listen to your show here.
Whatever.
How about Tron as the first cyber show or cyber movie?
That's actually
like
an
82-ish,
interesting
right?
angle on that, Tron. Because
That's
it was
very-
all about the computer, and he went into a computer world, and and then everything changed from that point on.
It was awesome. That fucking movie's great.
And then, of course, it's the only movie that I know of that they put out the video game at the same time. Like, learn the video game as you watch the movie.
That's really cool. And that was really popular video game. Now they'll just make a video game like a Transformers video game, just throw it out there.
And they don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's just
They'll
a
have
piece
the
of
trailer
garbage.
for the video game, too, these days.
What are you talking about?
They'll actually put out a trailer. Like, here's Transformers, the game trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
Vincent, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Kokomo, more like Suckamo.
All right, we're going to get to you later because we've got a guest coming up. As I said, Hicks, 2 different times he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as, I believe, the first American supergroup, which was Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You can go over to CrosbyStillsNash.com for tour dates, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash 2012 on Blu-ray and DVD is available now and in stores at Amazon, also at Amazon.com. For tour dates, go to CrosbyStillsNash.com. Let's bring in the one and only Graham Nash. Crosby, Stills, and Nash 2012, and Graham Nash in studio with us. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Ron. How are you?
Great sound on this, by the way.
Well, yeah.
A live album sounds just perfect.
Well, yeah. I mean, we take care of what we do. You know,
Yeah.
I want it to be the best.
Yeah.
That's why I did the audio mix with my friend Kevin Madigan, who is our front of house mixer, who recorded it. I want it to sound the best. I mean, why not?
You've got the CDs out along with
The
a
DVD, yes.
on it. A chance also for some interviews and stuff on there.
Right.
And you guys were talking about how well and strong Stephen Stills is doing right now.
Yes.
What's
Why?
Yeah. How's-
Well, I've been trying to puzzle that out myself. And I there's a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
One, you know, Stephen, and you know, I'm sure it's publicly known, had a bout with prostate cancer a couple of years ago, and so he was forced to deal with his weight as part of a healing process, and so he lost about 45 pounds, and he's looking fantastic. When you add that to the Buffalo Springfield going out and doing, 6 or 7 shows, and then Neil saying, "Yay, man, let's go out next year, man. The Springfield will make great music. We'll make a lot of money. It'll be fine, man." And then canceling. When David and I heard that, we realized several things. One, it affected Stephen deeply musically. He was very disappointed because he loves Neil, and Neil loves him, of course. But he'd fallen victim to, the way that Neil runs his life, right? And so when the Springfield shows were cancelled, David and I went out to Stephen's house and said, "Look, you know that me and David are a band. You know that we're going to go out. We'll cancel our tour if you want to go out. We're there for you. We love you. We support you. We're here. What do you want to do?" And so he kind of took a deep breath and realized that we do love him. And he's on fire this year.
Yeah. And that brought everything back for you guys as well, right? I mean,
because, we called him Captain Many Hands for a reason. He played almost every instrument except the drums and a couple of rhythm guitars that me and Davey played on the first record. He played every note. He played the bass, he played the organ, he played lead guitar, he played rhythm guitar, he played congas, the guy's an incredible musician. And when he comes and you can see that look in his eyes where he's going, "Okay, let's rock."
Right. Yeah.
It's good for me and David.
And that's the interesting thing, I think, about this band. That you guys have been together for so long, and there's so many kind of peaks and valleys.
Really?
Yeah.
Never noticed.
But it's been a hell of a ride. It's been
an insane ride.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I was in a successful band for 6 years before I ever met David and Stephen. My life has been insane. I love it to death. I wake up every morning and I'm glad to be alive, and I get on with my day, trying to do the best I can.
Well, the interesting thing, too, is like there seems to be more and more creativity in your life because now you're doing these gallery shows, and I've been reading that you're going to put a book out about your life.
Yep.
So busier now probably than you've been.
Than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And that's only a part of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing up Stephen's box set, which is incredible. I just found an incredible 2-track recording of Stephen in 1962 at the Voice of America Theater in Costa Rica.
Wow.
And it's a really cute little thing. It's called Traveling. And I'm seriously thinking about opening up Stephen's box set with it. I was going to open it up with For What It's Worth, which is an incredible still song. But Stephen loves the fact that my friend Joel Bernstein, who's producing the box set with me, found this earliest recording of Stephen.
Where was it found?
Not sure. I'd have to ask Joel. But, he's got friends that are bootleggers and friends that have collections and
Yeah.
He found it.
As you're going, have you started on the book yet? Have you started writing?
Of course.
Do memories just come flooding back? Or
Indeed, they do.
Yeah. Because I think the interesting thing about your life is there's a couple of being part of that British invasion, which alone would have been the ride of a lifetime. And then to come out of that with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, that not only have you done such great stuff, but you've been around great players and great artists your
I'm a lucky
entire
man,
life.
kid.
Yeah. So what for you, as you're looking back on it, what for you is stuff that maybe you took for granted when you were younger, but now when you look back at it, you're like, oh my God, how did that even
I don't
happen?
think I ever took anything for granted.
Yeah.
I don't think I take anything for granted even today.
Yeah.
You never know what happens. I mean, with all due respect, you send your kids off to a Batman movie and they end up dead.
Right.
You never know what's going to go on in this world. So you have to utilize every single second the best way you can. Am I successful 100% of the time? Of course not. But at least I'm trying.
Yeah. And how do you roll back out of it when you're not successful? Because you've had such great success. When you do everything that you do, I'm sure you expect it to be.
It depends what you call success.
Yeah.
Success for me is a beautiful day and my kids being healthy and my wife being healthy and cool. That's success for me. Mm-hmm. The rest is bonus.
Everything else is just good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you've made a living your entire life as an artist. Not only doing the stuff that we know, but the painting, the photography. Now that you're just really starting to put out some of the stuff in gallery shows.
Yeah, I just had my first gallery show ever, and with all due respect, Stephen has never seen one of them. There are 91 pieces. It was at the Ocean Gallery in Stone Harbor in New Jersey, a beautiful little gallery, and Josh and Kim, who own it and run it, really know what they're doing. When they came out to my house I have a house in Los Angeles, even though I actually live in Hawaii. They came to my house in Los Angeles and loved my stuff. And it was their feedback that made me realize that maybe I should share these. Yeah. So, and what I do is I do a painting, I let it dry and I roll it up, put it in the corner, do another one, let it dry, roll it up and put it in a tube. To walk into the gallery and see 50 of my paintings matted and framed, they looked like real art.
Yeah. And you had never had that experience before, nope. People actually walking through, looking at your work.
It was the very first time on the planet that any of my paintings have been shown.
Was there a reason that you even kept them? Did you think you were just doing it for yourself all those years?
I always work for myself. That's all I do. You know, but I realize that if I satisfy myself, I stand a good chance of satisfying you.
Yeah. You know, so many musicians are terrific visual artists, and it gets forgotten that so many of you guys came out of art school and stuff like that. So
not me.
Did you start painting or photography before music? Or
here's basically what happened. In 1974, when CSNY was on their tour of stadiums and you know, basketball arenas, you know, it was 35 shows, 36 shows. It's the first time it had ever happened. Yeah, the Beatles had played Shea Stadium, and yes, the Stones had done a couple of big shows, but not an entire tour of that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was totally crazy. It was chaotic. It was madness. There were so many drugs around, it was insane. To escape that, even though I was a big part of it, I started to draw into a book. And it kind of calmed me down and it made me do something else that was my own private stuff where I could go inside myself and express myself. Put the book away after the tour, forgot it for 30 years, was moving houses, found the book. And I started to look through it and I thought, you know, some of these are pretty cool, these things. So I have a company called Nash Editions, which was the first digital atelier in the world, and opened up in 1990. So I scanned in my drawings, high res, and I printed them out on canvas, large, and painted them. So that's how it started. Wow. So all these 91 pieces that were in this gallery were all done in the last 2 years.
And all based on those earlier works, though?
A lot of them, yes, and a lot of them based on photographs that I took of my friends that I thought were cool, that I then blew up big and painted, yes.
Is there anything similar in the creativity between doing that kind of work and being a songwriter?
It's all the same to me.
It's all the same.
I don't care what it is. It's just energy. And it doesn't matter where I point my energy, that's what I'm doing. So I never get writer's block. I hear a lot of my friends complain, well, you know, I just can't write. But you see, if I'm not writing, or if I can't write, which actually never happens, I start sculpting, or I start dealing with my collection of German expressionism, or I take photographs, or I, you know, or I. So I never get blocked because I just point my energy in a different direction.
And, but was that even a conscious decision by you, or is this, because it seems almost like children will behave that way.
You got it.
Yeah. And then somehow we tell them, you've got to specialize, you've got to focus on one thing.
You know, I never had anybody in my life telling me what to do. And I'm insanely lucky that way.
Yeah.
You know, and I am a child. Wait a second. Let me call Neil.
So it's all been fun the whole way.
Am I smiling at you?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
You're just in a really, really good place.
I'm a very lucky man.
Yeah. But, you know, you also, as much as you do this stuff on your own, you've really been a part of a team. And as we said, not everybody on the team is at the same place all the time. I mean, from my viewpoint, it seemed like you're the one who has kept the band together throughout.
I think I've been the one that has realized that the music is by far the most important part of our relationship.
Yeah.
None of that other stuff that, that people say, the backstabbing and no, it's meaningless now. I think it's a product of being successful for so many years and also getting to a certain age. I'm 70 years old now. And, the little things that used to, upset you just are not important anymore.
Do the other guys kind of feel the same way now?
I believe
that you're
they
at this
do,
point?
and
Yeah.
I think that we've all come to the same realization this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very obvious when you watch the DVD that 3 things are happening. 1, we want to be there.
Right.
2, we really do care and love each other. It's very obvious. Every single frame of this DVD, you realize there's 3 people that really, really like each other. It wasn't always the case. Mm-hmm. As you said before, we've had our ups and downs. But on this DVD, it's obvious that those 2 things are happening. And the third thing is that the audience love us.
Yeah. And there is a sense of what becomes, I guess, family after a while. And we've been through this with our family where you can't stand each other and then you go away for a while, then you're glad to see each other and something else will pop up. But really, these shared experiences is what the whole trip
I love being in a band.
Yeah.
I only really do solo projects when I've got too many songs and we've already made a record and therefore we're not going to make a record for another couple of years. And what do you do with those songs? That's when I become a solo artist. I'm much more interested in being on a team.
Yeah. And the harmonies, do they change as the years go by? Do you have to sing some of the songs differently?
There's a couple of songs that we've had to take down an entire tone, which is not very much, but obviously we and you can hear it on the 2 CDs that are included with the DVD and see it on the DVD that we can still do this.
Yeah, you can.
There's absolutely no doubt that we can still do this.
And it does become, again, still after all this time, about these fantastic songs. That these are basically the soundtrack of an era.
Somebody once told us that between us we had 900 songs. Between me and David and Stephen and Neil, we had 900 songs. Now, first of all, you have to realize that 600 of them are Neil's, but that's a whole other game. But yeah, we're older now. We've been around for a long time, and we're very creative people, each of the 4 of us, and we're constantly writing. That's what makes it good to go out on the road. Yes, we need to play Our House. Yes, people love to hear Guinevere. Yes, people are thrilled when we do Southern Cross. But our audience realize that we have to please ourselves also. Mm-hmm. And that's when, on this DVD, there's 3 brand new songs that no one's heard before.
And as the audience, do you feel like they're open to that? I mean, the audience...
They have to be, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But then they expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, they expect to hear a song that we wrote this morning.
Yeah. You worked your life with these 3 other fantastic songwriters. Does everybody write differently, or do you guys...
We're completely different.
Yeah.
It's an insane band.
Yeah.
Who the hell could write the story of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young?
Right.
It's insane. But yes, I have 3 partners that are really fine songwriters, yes.
And have you learned from them over the years? And
Of
they've
course.
learned from you?
I learn what not to do, and
Yeah.
I learn what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a great observer of people. I'm a photographer. I'm looking over here. I'm seeing Elvis in the corner over here, and I'm waiting for him to come around the corner on the back of an elephant. And I got my camera, but I'm ready.
You're always
Let's
ready.
rock. Go.
I think that's one of the things, too, about being a photographer, just the fact that you've had access to places that you wouldn't normally let photographers into, many backstage places and all. And you guys, of course, like we said, you've worked with the finest people in the world. But when you were all part of that English invasion, did you expect for this wave to go on this long? Did you think? No.
No. Yeah, I really believe that I'll be around tomorrow, but you never know. Mm. Look at how many friends we've lost. Even in the last 2 or 3 years, even in the last couple of months, Levon, what a sad death Levon's death was.
Yeah.
But I wrote a beautiful song with my friend Shane Fontaine about that. My point is that we react to our lives and we write about what happens to us, because if it happened to us, maybe you would recognize something in it that would help your life.
Right. And Levon is another guy who never stopped creating. I mean, I honestly think
What a talent.
that some of the work that he did at the end of his life was better than the work that he did when he was a young, strong man. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I never got to do that show of his in Woodstock, but everybody that I spoke to that did were amazed that he could play drums and sing like that for almost 5 hours a night.
Yeah. The last time I saw him, he actually couldn't sing, but his band was so great that everybody stayed,
Right.
had a great time.
Yes.
And that magic, whatever that magic was,
I
you know,
got to
was
work
still
with
there.
Levon first when he played drums on my song Field Worker.
So you've got to play with just about everybody that you've wanted to play with, and you've got to do these tours, and yet you're still looking to keep this going. It's
Absolutely.
still as much fun as when
I'm
you were
working
a kid.
on many, many projects right now.
Yeah.
The one of the most exciting is Stephen Stills' box set, which will come out later this year.
Producing is just as much fun for you as anything else. To enjoy that part of it, or
Creating something out of nothing is what I love to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and what we're doing as singers, we're just sculpting with air.
yeah.
What is music? What is singing? It's not. It doesn't exist until you do it. So, I'm working on many things right now that you will hear in the future that you will go, holy Toledo, that's fantastic. You should hear some of the music from the 1974 CSNY tour. Wow.
Yeah. That tour was so massive.
Yes.
And like you said, nobody had seen. It was almost as if Woodstock was traveling. So no one.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing racetracks and just bizarre stuff.
Yep.
Biggest band in the world at the time. And then you guys had found a way to bring it back down and make it smaller again when
Yep.
you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, we love playing the big places, but we really love doing the intimate places where audience can see your face and know whether you're serious about being there.
What about a gallery in New York? Are you going to bring anything to the city?
My friend Gene Luntz, who handles Peter Max, handles my art, part of my life. He's looking for a gallery here in New York for a small show in October.
Well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I love to be there. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, 2012. I think it's so interesting to see you guys still doing this and making it
It's a
happen.
great DVD, isn't it?
It is a fantastic DVD.
I'm very proud of it.
And I love the extras that you have on there because we're not really used to seeing you guys in that, kind of interacting that way. You see the great appreciation that everybody in the group has
For each other, yes.
And it's the amazing thing that to be in what they would call a supergroup at that time. Most of the other ones were just small projects, but this has become a pretty much a lifetime project.
Like I
for
said,
you guys.
who can write this story?
Yeah, it's just insane.
Maybe somebody will one day.
Yeah. Well, we know all be looking for your book.
Thank you, Ron.
Graham, it's so great to have you come back, and I love to see you the next time through. Stop back when you do the gallery show. I think
Gotcha.
that'd be fantastic.
My pleasure,
All
Ron.
right. Thanks so much, buddy.
You're welcome.
Ron Bennington, Fez Whatley. The Ron and Fez Show. More Ron and Fez next.
It's the Ron and Fez show on a Tuesday. Graham Nash was just in here a couple minutes ago. He and I were just talking in the hall, and we're only at the very early stages of this.
Okay.
But it looks like it could be Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Bennington. Not sure if we ever need Neil Young as part of this.
What?
Yeah.
You're going on tour with them?
Yeah.
CSMB.
Yeah. I'll probably just be doing my Blade Runner impression. I got that. I got Desert Inn, House Heart. I'll do a little Albert Brooks.
Cool.
Quick trivia stuff where I'm just yelling out questions to the audience. And I think it's going to bring something to Crosby, Stills, and Nash they never had before, and that's pizzazz.
No singing, though? Maybe jump in on a harmony or something?
No.
Okay.
I kind of think singing's for girls, and you know what's. All right.
I know.
Oof, I know you do. Ron and Fez show. We've got a Tom Davis Unmasked coming up in the 2 o'clock hour that you guys are going to get a big kick out of. He was with us, and he just passed away this week, and we're throwing some stuff up there. If you'd like to write some stuff, the bottom of the Tom Davis thing that we have up on the iBang. It would mean a lot to his people. If you got some memories along. Tom Davis, of course, one of the real people who got Saturday Night Live started. So if you'd go over and just write a memory to on the iBang, that would be seriously fantastic. Before we jump into some of this other stuff, Hicks, you threw a video up there that you're crazy about.
Oh yeah, this is Place Plant ends with some tenderly fatherly love.
Please guys, I remember I said how I want to do this, but I saw that at the end of it, the father ends up really frustrated.
Yeah, just pissed. Dealing with the kid.
You should be, because the father's gonna have to pay for these teeth. And you can see that the kid never really needed to get into this stuff at all.
The kid's he's bleeding out. The father should keep it together for a little bit.
Do you need to be jumping over shit in the street and fucking up your teeth?
XXX.
It's going to cost this dad $15,000, $20,000.
What?
Yeah, dental work is very expensive. That's why I want you to get yours done while you have insurance.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Thank you. Fez, you had something you wanted to talk about off until?
Just that bully video, that the 9-year-old. It's just sickening. It's so frightening what can happen.
They're just little kids slapping each other.
No, this is a 9-year-old who is basically terrorizing Warlord in a daycare center. It's just horrific how he just really tortures these little 2-year-olds. And, of course, the family thinks there's nothing wrong with him.
Well, what do you think is wrong with him?
There's something to sit there and beat and kick and strangle 2-year-olds when you're 9. You're beyond the age of knowing better.
Well, what would you? Well, not legally, but what would you have done with this kid?
Oh, he'd be in some sort of juvenile psychiatric ward.
What?
Well, that's sure to make him better. They always say the best thing that you could do for a kid is put him in juvie.
Hey, it's on World Star. Weird.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know. To me, I get it. This fucking kid's a nut. He's kicking and all, but I've seen it happen before. Fucking kids are crazy, that's all.
Juvie ain't, I don't know. That's a bit far, Fez. Really? The kid's going to do kid time?
Yes, he should. He's a monster. He needs to be taken away from other kids.
He's a little kid. I don't know how often that we take kids away from their family that it actually works out as a benefit. But I guess there's people on this. I know that the people that are running this... By the way, this is up on the iBang. I forget what it is. What's it?
9-year-old bullies infants
at daycare. Yeah, it's making its way around right now. Sally Ride passed away. She was kind of a hero to a generation, particularly of little girls in the 1980s, and she was the first American woman into space. She leaves behind a partner of 27 years who Fez will be happy to know receives no benefits because she was our first lesbian into space. I kind of even wonder whether politically that would even be able to get done now. We were back in the old don't ask, don't tell days.
Yeah, it's like...
So there was a lot less political aspects to this type of thing. Was she? Did you ever have like a childhood hero like that, Hicks?
Childhood hero. I like Jim Thorpe. Always was a guy that I thought was fucking cool as shit.
You are so much older than I ever thought you were.
But Jim Thorpe was the shit as a child. Like this guy really ran shit.
Now, how did you even know who Jim Thorpe was? Because he was. 1930s?
Yeah, 1930s. I think it was like something on Native Americans, basically, and they would name the great Native Americans who succeeded. And Thorpe was there, and I really this guy could just dominate everything, every fucking sport. This guy was fucking shit.
He really was, and I think they took his medals away.
Yeah,
I think they took his medals away because he had played a little minor league baseball or something.
I saw him as like basically a superhuman. And I thought like this, and plus the Native American. I always thought Native Americans more badass than any paleface.
I had no idea about this. I guess with your hair, you do give off a Native American thing. I would say Creed, and when I say Creed, I don't even mean the tribe. I mean the band.
Oh.
With arms wide open. Hi, everybody. I'm a centaur. That's all I need.
Human being. You can see my legs. They're human.
I see two of them. I can't see your hindquarters.
So why are you calling me a centaur then? You can't even confirm.
All right, so the 1930s Jim Thorpe.
I thought he was all cool.
Now,
as shit.
did you read about him? Or
Yeah,
you
I read about him. Yeah, I read like it was like a social studies book. Or
I
some
loved
shit.
all those things. I was like, when you would get like Jesse Owens, he really fucked up the Nazis. It's so funny the way little boys want to read about sport, and doesn't matter where it happened. I remember I read a Dick Weber story about him bullying. I'm like, this is so much better than doing math. I'll write a report on Dick Weber right now.
This is fun.
All right, Pips, what about you? Did you have a real-life hero as a kid?
Not really. The only thing I really liked was sports guys, so a lot of quarterbacks, basketball guys.
All right, give us one.
John Elway.
Elway?
Dan Marino.
That's so funny. I kind of feel like you got to pick between Elway and Marino, though. You can't have them both.
No.
We've got this up on the iBanger if you want to call in, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Donnie Iris writes on here, and I don't think it's the real Donnie Iris, because that was my childhood hero, that he would also have picked Jim Thorpe, much like our own Chris Stanley did.
That's strange. But I mean, Jim Thorpe is the man, so a lot of people appreciate his fucking abilities on the field of sport.
Now, there would have been different times in like the history where you would have had military heroes, but it's been a long time since anyone's like
Schwarzkopf. That was my fucking guy.
Schwarzkopf was a military hero, and they put the book out and they ran it all, and then boom, just gone. Like you never heard about the dude again. It was just like, hey, that came and went awful fast. Eagles fan has one over there, and it's a perfect one. Wee Willie Weber, and who wouldn't pick him? Matter of fact, he's the one that had the Astro Boy cartoons, as well as the Marine Boy, and of course, Kimba the White Lion. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. You can give us a call here or write it up on the iBang under quick questions. Who was your hero? Here's Gary in Gary, Indiana. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, what's happening? Hey, when I was a kid, man, my hero was definitely Evel Knievel. I thought it was...
Nobody was bigger.
But then when I got older, I read a couple stories about him, found he was kind of an asshole,
Well, all your heroes are assholes. I mean, there's no... like, if you really found out who Mickey Mantle ever was, you wouldn't have been crazy about him. But Evel Knievel, they had packaged and sold him so much to little kids that the toy was outselling everything, and kids, like, overnight tried to set up ramps and start jumping stuff on their bicycles.
Sick.
Scooby-Doo says George Patton. He must be a little older than most people. Here's Chris in Indiana. Who's your real-life hero?
Oh, it was Larry Bird. He came, Terre Haute, French Lick, Indiana.
It's great to have a hero like Larry Bird, a hero that can't jump. I think that's important because that makes you think, hey, I can't jump that high either. Maybe I can make it.
Get those assists, though.
If you look at Michael Jordan, you're like, no way could I do that. But if you look at Larry Bird, you're like, I could just really come up with a great outside shot and be a good team player and outthink everybody. Jeff, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, my real-life childhood hero was always Robert E. Lee, and not so much because of what he did during the Civil War.
It's what he didn't do.
Well, he loved his country, his South country, so much that he left the other country that he loved to defend it. So there were so many aspects of Robert E. Lee that I thought were just fantastic.
Everybody likes it's, people who attack the United States, whether it's Robert E. Lee, Osama bin Laden. There's been so many great people for kids to look up to. Let's go over here to Eddie. You're on the Run of Fez show.
2987, my buddy.
Oh, that's going old school. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go with my guy, Gordie Howe.
Gordie Howe. Now, there you are in Virginia. Did you grow up in Virginia?
No, I grew up in New York.
All right, so how did you jump on the Gordie bandwagon?
Well, he played for the Whalers, and I was kind of, a fan like that. And he liked to screw the Union, which is awesome.
All right, I appreciate it. I like people who I like this guy from way over there, where Hicks will even cross time and space for his heroes.
That's right.
866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. By the way, a lot of great stuff up on the iBank today. Fezzi, like the 9-year-old bullying daycare infants. Surprisingly, Fezzi wanted that kid taken out of society. No. Hicks went for the guy who yelled at his kid after the kid got their teeth blown out. I kind of like the mom who doesn't make the kid hold hands as they cross the street. And that way, when the kid does get hit by a car, the mom runs back and doesn't put her bag down as he's yelling at her to get up. Here's James in Nashville. You're on the Run of Fez show.
Ronnie B, no contest. The real American Hulk Hogan.
Now, Hulk Hogan, of course, bigger than his sport. Bigger than wrestling itself. As a matter of fact, if you were to go out on the street today and say, name a wrestler, it'd still probably come in 80-85% Hulk Hogan.
He's the man. When Earthquake fucked him up, broke his ribs, I sent a letter to him as a child. And then I got a signed Hogan picture.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
You never wrote to him about any of his victories.
No.
But when Earthquake
fucked him up.
Yeah, fucked him up. What did you write to him?
I was like, hope you get better, Hulk. I'm rooting for you. Drinking my milk or whatever.
Dear Hulk, I am a Hulkamaniac, much like you.
That's right.
I hate Earthquake. Let's just get that out of the way.
Fuck that bearded dick.
He is not a good person. Here's Pat in Michigan. We're talking about kids' heroes. Who was your hero growing up?
Dennis Rodman. I loved him. I had a jacket with it airbrushed on the back, the whole thing.
Yeah, of course. A lot of little kids love transsexual basketball players.
I didn't even like the rebound. I just shot the three the whole time, so it doesn't make any sense.
Rodman, though, I could see why kids would like him because he was like a Muppet. He actually looked and acted like any Muppet.
He has crazy hair. That always helps.
Dear Hulk.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to write with these hooves.
All right.
But I want you
have
to
fingers.
know.
Look, fingers. Digits.
Let's go over here. Mark, Wisconsin. Who was your childhood hero?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Faz. Hey, guys. Hey, O.J. Simpson was my hero, man. I had posters. Loved football.
Now, was that before or after the murder?
It was before. It was just
Okay, good. All right. So that makes a lot. I mean, I thought maybe you were just watching CNN as a kid and you're like, I really like this defendant.
Dude, he got away with it.
His fucking gloves don't fit. You have to acquit. There he is. This is the worst day of your life.
This is it, when he was on the Brother Love show.
Oh, no.
And fucking, he just went over.
What, did you cry?
I was all fucked up. I cried. Yeah, I was like, why is this happening?
Mom, can I have a stamp?
Why would they do this? I think I got some fucking Hogan wristbands, too. I'm trying to remember. I do remember I got something besides a picture.
Oh, God, that's so fucking great.
Did you write later on when the NWO finally turned on him?
No.
Paul in Florida, you're on a Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Chuck Yeager, the ultimate badass.
Now, how did you even know about Chuck Yeager when you were a kid?
Just the breaking the sound barrier, all that on the news. And I read his book when I was in my 20s. It's pretty amazing.
All right, Chuck Yeager, of course, was the first guy to break the sound barrier. And if you go back and watch the movie The Right Stuff, he was the one with the right stuff. Gordo Cooper just didn't have a chance to finish that sentence. There was one guy with the right stuff. He was. Click, Gordon. Can we get a picture of you? No. Let's go over here to Russ. Russ, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Good morning, boys.
Yeah.
When I was 9, I learned about the space shuttle, so I did research on the space program itself and learned what happened with Apollo 13. So Jim Lovell is my hero because of the adversity he went through.
Yeah, he was a guy who did not get to land on the moon, but brought that thing back. I kind of feel bad for kids that they don't have the astronaut heroes. We're talking about this even came up because of Sally Ride passing away, and that was a chance for girls to say, maybe I can go to space.
That's right, ladies.
And my girlfriend will be waiting here for me when I get back. And then when I die years from now, she won't get any benefits at all.
Ever.
Let's go over here to Sean in Canada. You're on Run of Fez.
Hey, boys. My childhood hero was Bobby Clark.
Bobby Clark, who not only was the great center for the Flyers, but also sold bad suits on TV. And for that, he put teeth in. It was always weird, like, oh, he's put his teeth in. I guess he's got something really important to say. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Let's go over here to Tim in Tennessee. Tim. Yeah.
Hey, Erwin von Rommel, German, basically general in the North African campaign.
Yeah, we're all familiar with Rommel. You were the Desert fucking Fox or whatever was your guy.
Yep.
No, that was from reading books?
Yes. Big history nut. He wasn't a fucking Nazi, but yet he still kicked ass within the system.
Wasn't a Nazi, but still found a way to kick some ass. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I'm going to go over some of these on the iBang. This is a classic right away, Super Dave Osborne.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then he said after that came on Red Shoe Diaries. Snake Plissken's name comes up. Magic Johnson. And Liquid Turkey says, until Monday, mine was Joe Paterno. Oh, boy. Barkley. And it's Charles Barkley, not the dog.
Love Charles Barkley.
Here's one. Steve Garvey. Boy, was he the all-American boy. Had a fucking jaw like a shovel. Richard Perry, of course, the Richard Petty, or Steve Perry. Don't ever confuse those two. Here's Jake. Jake, you're on the Run of Fez show. Who was your hero as a kid?
Chuck Zito.
Now, how would a kid know about Chuck Zito?
I think it was 1986. My grandmother moved to New York, and he was riding. I didn't, and my brother did. He was riding the subway. I guess he was like the subway badass.
Yeah.
You know, somebody tried to jump him and stuff, and my brother, we heard about him, and then we found out he was like this bodyguard, major bodyguard, and all that stuff, and he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he was, and still is, just a badass in about every single type of way that we can. Is he any relation to Mark Zito? Does anybody know?
Possibly distant cousin.
Oh. I can't picture that. I can't picture Zeets being related to Chuck Zito.
It's like different, just.
Let's go over here to Mike. Mike, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Number 39, Larry Zonka of the perfect Miami Dolphins. Now, let me tell you why also. He was also on the $6 Million Man one episode, and he played Larry Bronco, and they went bowling, and Zonk got up first and threw a strike, and he said to the $6 Million Man, go ahead and beat that. And $6 Million Man gets up there, and he shatters the pin. So
why wasn't it $6 Million Man? Why was it about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? That's what him and Jim Kick used to call themselves. Let's go over to Blowhard. Blowhard, who was the boyhood idol?
The definition of cool, Broadway Joe Namath. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to get into football, and I watched the Giants game, and it was the most boring, horribly slow-moving, awful game. And then I switched over to the AFL. and I see a guy with white shoes coming out, a guy with a fur coat, a guy who was just the epitome of coolness, throw for like 500 yards, and it was against the Raiders, and it was Darryl LaMonica throwing bombs. And from that day, I watched the AFL. I was hooked. I even had my mother drag me down to a department store to meet Joe Namath, and he never showed up. We waited 2 hours in line.
That's even better, I think.
And when he got arrested not arrested, but when the league told him to get rid of his bar because he had like dubious connections, and the commercials he did, the Noxzema ad with Farrah Fawcett at a young age, the movies he did, he was just
C.C. Ryder. All right, Blowhard. All right, good. When he's picking Joe Willie, Broadway Joe Namath. Broadway Joe Namath. I'm looking up on Oliver North's name pops up. Macho Man Randy Savage. Here's a good one, Pistol Pete Maravich. That was something for young white boys to believe in. Here's Cigars and Scotch. Road Warriors, Ric Flair, Sam Kinison, Dee Snider, and Randy Savage. We now know exactly why Cigars and Scotch is the way he is. Tony, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, my boyhood hero was Julius Erving, Dr. J. And my father, he drove me up into the hills of Villanova because I wanted to go see his house. And so he just drove around until he found a big fucking house with 2 basketball courts in the back of it. He goes, there's Dr. J's house. So,
Dr. J was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. I think O&A had him on about the past year or so. I think he came in and just like amazed them with his Dr. J-ness, just walking in the room.
His aura.
Yeah, that's all you need. And he's an actual doctor. If he wanted to do an operation, he could.
Sign me up, Dr. J.
Unlike a lot of these other assholes out there.
Dr. Dre. Get the fuck out of here.
I forgot about Dre.
Just don't.
I always do. I always forget about Dre. Let's go over here to Chuck in Bama.
Hey, Ronnie. I read a book when I was a kid in the 70s and was just fascinated by it for years. It's called The World's Most Successful Private Eye, J.J. Arms. This guy had 2 hooks for hands, and it would show him in pictures in the book.
Was Arms his real last name, or did he just take that on as an ironic hipster thing?
I always thought it was pretty ironic, but it was spelled A-R-M-E-S. That was supposedly his real name, J.
All right, we've got pictures of hook hands here.
Oh, he's got a fucking piece.
Yeah, and he's got a little fucking pop gun at the end of it. Why wouldn't he just screw some kind of gun into his wrist would be the way to go.
Gun arm, dude.
Louis in New Hampshire.
My hero growing up was Mark McGuire because I played for the Cardinals in my local baseball team, and he was the star of that team, and I was obsessed with that team, and I never gave a shit about baseball since.
Did you care when you found out he cheated?
No, I was long gone at that point.
All right, thanks. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I think it was 99 that he hit those 70 home runs. It was just the most aggressive thing that you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, I was following that shit. I saw when he fucking broke it.
It was
Nuts.
insane. It was absolutely insane, and I don't know why we just don't bring the juice back.
Let's make the fucking game just nuts. You have 99.
What was that last thing?
99.
Okay.
99.
Trying to figure out these things. Dear Hulk, if you were playing for the Cardinals, I bet you'd hit 1,000,000 home runs. P.S. Earthquake blows and smells like shit.
God, I hate that asshole.
Dear Earthquake, fuck you. Lois, Manhattan, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys, man? My all-time hero growing up was the Fonz from Happy Days.
Hey! Hey! Honestly, there is no way for kids today to understand how big a star could be because Fonzie was such a massive star that we came very, very close to naming the country after him.
The United States of Fonzies?
Yeah, or the Fonzie States of America. It was being kicked back and forth. But we just don't have stars that are that big. Like, figure like a Lady Gaga times 1 billion.
Good God.
That's how big he was. Whatever he did was just massive.
Everyone was a little monster.
Yeah, and there was nothing about him that was, Henry Winkler, that was very Fonzie-like.
Yeah, that cool Jack on the show.
He was a great one that came in. Bo Jackson.
Hell yeah.
He was phenomenal
That
to
motherfucker
watch.
was the man.
Burglar says Steve McQueen. And let's see. Joan Jett's name pops up a little bit. Anthony, you're on a Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. My childhood hero was Lawrence Taylor. As far as I'm concerned, he made sweet love to that 14-year-old girl.
It's disgusting.
I would never convict him on any jury
This is why it must be so tough to be a prosecutor, because you got to be like, seriously, you're going to tell me, are you a fan before we start this? You don't want to be prosecuting rapists, and you look over and just see a bunch of guys giving thumbs up to the rapist.
Don't worry.
You fucking destroyed them, dude. Unbelievable.
An autograph. Please.
Let's go over here to Sean. Sean, you're on the Run and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie. My hero was always Nolan Ryan.
Well, everybody loves an angry fastball, don't they?
Yeah, and it made me really sad when your call screener had to ask me who.
Well, just say the owner of a team now, because that's... Yeah, the guy throws fucking 7 no-hitters, and we don't know who... Was it a guy or girl that answered?
Girl.
Okay, that's not so bad then. I don't mind.
If that was Kokomo,
I don't mind. If that was fucking Kokomo, I'd have thrown at him.
Send his ass home.
I would have just chucked right at his back and tried to hit him in that fucking stack of fucking dimes spine that he has. Just a loose stack of dimes heading straight up from his tailbone to his stupid skull. Pretty perked. Fucking dope. Brian, you're on the Run and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie B.
Yeah.
Hey, growing up, I love baseball, and I am Puerto Rican, so it's only one choice, Roberto Clemente.
Oh, man. So when the plane went down, worst day of your life? Oh, he's gone. You probably didn't want to fucking cry on the air.
Yeah.
There was some movie about this guy bringing his paralyzed brother back to see Clemente hit his 3000s. It's a piece of shit movie. I watched the whole thing. I'm just fucking sitting there staring at it at home. I have the worst time turning off baseball movies. Could be about the dumbest thing. You could have a Chihuahua at shortstop, and I'm like, shh, shut up, I'm watching this.
Fucking Chihuahua's fucking dominating right now. None's
I don't understand why we don't have more of those. Jay in Cleveland, you're on the Run and Fez show.
What's up, Ronnie B?
Yeah.
No one's better than the world's biggest show-off, the famed Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds was a gigantic movie star back in the 70s. Unfortunately, his plane did not go down because he would be really fondly remembered. I'm going to go over here to Gary in Virginia. You're on Run and Fez.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie, my hero growing up, I played football, Pee-wee all the way up, was Conrad Dobler.
The dirty fucking offensive lineman.
You get up out of the pile and you had bite marks on your arm from Conrad.
He would bite people in the pile. He would kick them in the shins. He was just an awful human being. He was just terrible.
An animal. Holy
He
shit.
is.